It's time to get your quick fix with the remix. I'm Remixus and I hope y'all are having a fantastic day. It's been about 2 months since my last video and we've seen quite a few updates since then. So let's kind of jump into what Ember is and then we'll talk about the changes. So first, this is a PvE first and third person MMO. Dueling PvP could be a feature in the future, but right now the focus is on PvE. The developers have said that they want to focus their attention on PvE, one, because most of the backers are interested in the PvE, and because it allows them to balance PvE instead of having to focus on the balance for PvP. When you're having to balance both of them at the same time, you tend to run into issues to where neither of them are successful. Don't worry, the Ember devs still love PvP, and they've even likened this game a little bit to PlanetSide PvE, which I thought was pretty cool. But we're not here to talk about PlanetSide, so let's kind of get into Ember. Oh, before we do, one last thing. Mark has said that they will not be adding loot boxes. He understands why AAA games have them, because it's very profitable, but that's not where he wants to go with this indie game. So shout out to Panda Gnome. He helped me make this video without even realizing he was in it, but he added a lot to the MMO side of that when we started battling the Sihu. So, 3 big new features. PvP has been disabled. You are now no longer able to attack players, unfortunately. However, the AI will attack you. It will try to find you when you're behind cover, or it will try to seek cover itself. The AI will also squad up to fight against you in teams of 3 to 4. Right now they're a little buggy, but overall they still feel like they're attacking you in groups. We've also seen health bars that have been added, and while they're not very clean, it's still a great add so you know how much damage you're doing to them. Unfortunately, we still need objectives, and I'll talk about that here in a little bit, and my inventory is still not working. I'm not sure if it's because I accidentally assigned a different key to my I key and it wiped out my inventory, but I can't get it to pull up and I can't rebind that key, so I'm not sure what's going on. Overall, this feels like a beta of Firefall, and I mean that in the most positive way possible. So let's get into some of the smaller changes. First, camera adjustments have been made for giving you different feeling effects. Whenever you use a dash movement, your player moves quickly, but then the camera has to catch up a little bit. And then also when you're running, you get kind of a zoom effect going on. This allows the feel of the game to feel a lot more full, I guess is the way to describe it. Things don't feel so hollow, it doesn't feel like you're playing a beta, it feels like you're playing a much more polished experience. We also have the enemy hitboxes that got fixed. Apparently the hitboxes were kind of all over the place or being assigned to things that didn't exist, so some of the Sihu were invincible. And then hitboxes were added for headshots. Overthrust will have you now accelerate over time. So now you can travel much faster and further with overthrust. It feels pretty awesome. They've even talked about having it cause bumpering effects, so you run into enemies and it pushes them out of the way. This could be kind of interesting, maybe throw them off mountains and stuff like that. Missiles will now travel shorter distances and they can fire much faster, so the effect of the missiles feel great. Enemies also have a threat area, so instead of just attacking you from any range, once you get within the threat area, they'll start attacking, and if you move outside that threat area, they'll stop shooting at you. The plasma rifle can now overheat. It gives you about 5 shots before you need to let it cool down, but this prevents the plasma rifle from being the only thing that you would want to use. The Sihu's lock-on can also be broken, and this is great because it would occasionally bug and go through mountains. However, it can still bug and stay on even after you've landed or after you've killed the enemy. The enemies also have predictive fire, so they'll fire where they think you're going as opposed to where you were. I'm not sure if this was added or how long it's been in there, but other players can also get your mined resources. This is actually kind of cool because I can get theirs or they can get mine. One of the newest dev builds also has enemies showing their actions, which will be awesome for helping debugging. They can figure out what enemies were trying to do whenever maybe they bugged out. Now for looking in the future. A few things are going to happen before we get to our Kickstarter. We need a light Omni frame, that's supposed to be included, and we're supposed to see actual Thumper encounters. So you drop your Thumper, the Dark Rift spawns, and you protect it. And then finally, we're supposed to see transformation of these shape-shifting Sihu. They should be turning into more of a beast form, which would have a lot more melee attacks as opposed to only being a humanoid shooting character. Once we go into the Kickstarter phase, it'll be like the launch of the first alpha. What we're currently doing is buying skins or different packs to kind of steer the direction of the game to say this is what the players want, as opposed to simply getting to different goals and saying, well, we'll do this whenever you get to those goals. This allows the community to decide what they want to see in the game, as opposed to what the devs necessarily want to see. Understand that making an MMO, first-person shooter, third-person shooter, is a pretty big undertaking and pretty hard to do with a small dev team. Other future changes, we may see a new map. The devs have talked about how our 4x4 kilometer map is too small. We also will see different explosions for missile effects. Personally, I want to see an actual inventory, like what you're traditionally used to seeing, boxes. And I want to see rifts open when you call a Thumper, but that's for the Kickstarter. And then the next big thing that everybody will be looking for is giant kaiju, because that's what the game is supposed to focus on. So that sums up the future. One thing that I'm really liking about these builds is that we can see the progress that's happening in real time. You guys are able to watch these videos that I make, or you're able to go subscribe and get in on these builds yourself and see what you think about them. Now, I'll never ask you guys to pay for something that's not ready, but because people have asked about it in the comments, this is where you can go to figure it out. I still plan on making content in the future, just to give you guys an update with what's going on with this game. So if you want, you're more than welcome to just stay tuned and I'll try and bring you the latest builds. Well, that wraps it up. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, keep it real and keep it on Remix.